Donovan, joined in the second half of the programme by Connor Pearce. Our best wishes to colleague Ashley James, who's still suffering from double red line syndrome, or COVID as it's also called. And whilst we're doing shout-outs, I also promised a shout-out to lovely Dawn downstairs in the press room, who looks after me with lots of pies before the game, as you can tell by my ever-expanding screen appearance. Getting back to matters at hand, it's Blackpool here today, 15th place Blackpool, who are 6 points ahead of the Bluebirds. Another one of those teams that Cardiff City will be looking to chase down, particularly after this resurgent home form that has seen them win a number of games on the bounce, something that was lacking in the early part of the season. And on Tuesday night against Coventry, for a large portion of time, it was a war of attrition, but of course settled by two moments of sheer quality. Joel Bagan's wonderful goal cutting in from the left-hand side on his right foot, and substitute Mark Harris again showing why he's known as an impact sub. We also saw more lessons about Steve Morrison's management style, a little bit of tough love towards Max Waters. Those two have had a very good meeting since, going over the post-game tapes. But as Steve Morrison said, he's a man in a rush. He needs results, he needs wins, because he wants to be the man that takes Cardiff City forward. So every game for him still remains crucial. For our opponents, Blackpool, well, they're a little old-fashioned, a little swashbuckling in the way they play. It's a 4-4-2 formation, two holding midfielders, but they do like to get wingers on around the side, and that could be a really intriguing battle for Cardiff City's wing-backs this afternoon. And they also play with two out-and-out strikers. A little bit of throwback with Blackpool today, the team of Stanley Matthews still keeping the traditional winger as part of their setup. It'll be really interesting to see how Cardiff City cope with that this afternoon in what is still very windy and difficult conditions. My advice, try and keep the ball on the floor. So all set up for what should be a very, very interesting encounter. In terms of team news, well, it's two changes apiece for both sides, as you're just seeing pictures of players arriving a little earlier. Blackpool arriving off the bus. They made it down safely after the EFL. We're a little cautious in advising them not to travel early in the day yesterday, but very glad to see them down at Cardiff City Stadium. And it's two changes for the away side. If we go through them, first of all, from their last defeat, or last time out, a defeat against Bournemouth. Again, a 4-4-2 formation. They line up with Dan Grimshaw in goal. A back four of Reece James, Jordan Thornley, Marvin Ekpiteta and Dujon Sterling. Josh Bowler will play from the left. Callum Connolly and Kevin Stewart are the two holding midfielders who will protect the back four, allowing the wingers to go forward. Charlie Kirk makes his first ever league start for Blackpool from the right wing. Gary Medine, former Bluebird, surely he can't score today on his return to Cardiff City Stadium. He leads the line alongside Jerry Yates. And for the Bluebirds, as I say, two changes for them. Four changes on Tuesday night, just the two this afternoon. They line up, well, it's the familiar goalkeeper and back line now, isn't it? It's Alex Smithies in goal. Cody Drama is the right wing back. Joel Bagan, the informed Joe Bagan, the left wing back. Three centre-halves, Aidan Flint, who is captain today. Perry Ng on his right, and Mark McGuinness on his left. Ryan Wintle continues to play that holding midfield role, and isn't he playing it well as he plays against the club he was on loan at in the early part of the season. Will Vokes retains his place. Tommy Doyle comes back in, and at top, Jordan Hugel will lead the line, and Isaac Davis will be in support. On the bench for the Bluebirds this afternoon, Dylan Phillips, Oni Denham. Good to see Alfie Doherty make a return from injury. He's on the bench as well. Marlon Pack is back in there. Eli King, Mark Harris and Uche Ikpeazu. So the scene is set. These were the scenes on your screen a little earlier. Players arriving, as I say, still difficult conditions, but some of the fans brave the conditions to get the autographs. They'll be hoping for more of the same for Cardiff City today. So will Steve Morrison. He'll be hoping for more of the same also. And as ever, the gaffer caught up with the pre-assembled press a little earlier in the week.
I fully believe that a happy environment to work is a better place, an easier place to work. And it's been interesting the last three home games because we've given up most of possession, But then when we have turned the ball over, we've had real good quality when we've had that, and we then keep it, and we've been hurting them. So yeah, it's been good. And as I said, the winning helps everything, doesn't it? So that's obviously been a big plus point to it as well. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Blackpool, they play a 4-4-2, which is interesting because not many teams do it now. They've got their way of playing, and as we will always do, we'll work on what we're going to do. The weather might play a part if this wind keeps up, so we'll see how much of a part that plays. I think they've got a few injuries at the back, so they could change as well. So we plan for most scenarios, and what we then do is once we get the team sheet and we have a look and we try and work at what they're doing, then we'll have our final meeting before we go out, which basically aligns what we're trying to do. So yeah, we'll see what happens. You'll see. I'm sure, like in every game we play, you'll see a distinct idea of what we're trying to do. Where the way the season's gone this year, and you're looking at around 44, 45 points on average, is going to, so for our point of view, another 3 wins in the last 15 would maybe make you sit a little bit more comfortable, and you're thinking to yourself, well, can really start maybe opening up a little bit. But then obviously everyone needs to buy into that as well, because obviously you don't want to start opening up and then starting losing games of football just because you're trying to put square pegs in round holes as well. So we still need to do what's best for the players in the group, and obviously the planning side of it, that's going to be from a club's point of view at the minute, isn't it? Because obviously I can only deal with between now and the end of the season, really. What happens after that is out of my hands at the minute.
Well, it seems like Steve Morrison is doing a press conference every day at the moment, always entertaining. That was he, the gaffer, speaking to the press yesterday, I believe. Well, right now I'm... maybe a little bit of danger pay, I think, for Cardiff City, but it's good to see you up here. And I guess the question I want to ask initially is, I don't know whether you're old enough to remember, but when Blackpool come to town, it's still a little bit the memory of that 2010 playoff final. There's still that feeling of wanting to owe them after breaking our hearts at Wembley all those years ago.
Very much old enough to remember that day, unfortunately, John, yes. There's still a little bit raw still, that 2010 playoff final, but we've had some good results against Blackpool here at Cardiff City Stadium. 3-2 win back the last time that they visited us in 2015. Ewan Doyle scoring twice on that day. So let's hope for another 3 points this afternoon.
If we reflect just quickly on Tuesday's encounter, I said there in the first segment, attrition punctuated by quality, and I do think Cardiff City grew into it second half, played some nice football and deserved their win. But one of those games where you just have to get through it, and you just have to be on the winning side. And earlier in the season, we weren't on the winning side of too many of those games.
And especially in such a busy month of fixtures as well, it's not going to be brilliant performances every half of every game. And you're right, that first half was scrappy, as it was at Millwall last weekend, but the Bluebirds did what they did at the Den. They took charge of the early part of the second half, got the opening goal, which is so important in these championship games. How many times do we see games decided by just one goal? And it's really important that City got it, and they did that. Joel Bagan with a really fantastic finish, and carried them forward to get the 3 points.
Just in terms of, I guess, dealing with the elephant in the room, of course everyone was speaking about Max Watters. I said to Mark Denham on commentary, I don't mind Steve Morrison making brave decisions. I don't mind Max Watters being annoyed when he comes off. I didn't mind any of that, and I like the fact that they had that meeting after the game and went through everything on video. That's the way, to me, it should work.
It is, and Max Watters, as you say, Steve Morrison would have discussed that performance as he does with every player after every game, and analysis and reviews of performances. Nothing new in football, but it's almost refreshing again to see two players who came on in midweek and really changed that game. Jordan Hugill with an impressive performance, and Tommy Doyle, especially in the later parts of the game, adding that creativity that Cardiff City's midfield perhaps was lacking in that first half. And it's nice to see those players in the starting 11 from the off today.
We sort of touched about Jordan Hugill there. He's becoming a fixture, a favourite in this Cardiff City side. I said in commentary against Millwall last week, the biggest compliment I can give him is that perhaps the name Kiefer Moore hasn't been mentioned quite so much as I thought it was going to be since he left. he's becoming a very integral part of this side. He looks like a Cardiff City type of player.
He does, and the manager's press conferences confirm that. He's doing what he's being asked to do in terms of not just being a focal point for the attack, holding that ball up, but also chasing and pressing defences. And the combination of him and Isaac Davis really paid off against Peterborough, especially with Isaac's pace. You know he's going to chase those balls. Nothing's a lost cause with him, and it helps to have that focal point in Hugo up alongside him.
We were both in Steve Morrison's press conference after Tuesday night. He was joking. He didn't know whether the crowd were calm or quiet because they were nervous. He felt very calm. He feels this defence is now structured. He feels it's playing well. Of course, you know, it's football. They will concede goals, but he feels that he's well on the path, and this team is well on the path to minimising those bad goals they conceded earlier in the season.
It's certainly something that's changed in recent weeks, and it's such a confidence boost to get that first clean sheet on home turf, and then you've got something to build from, something to replicate, and you have that experience of grinding out those defensive performances and getting those clean sheets. Let's not forget as well, you know, the likes of Mark McGuinness, Joel Bacon in that back line haven't played too many championship games. Even Perry Ng, who it feels is an absolute staple of this Cardiff City side now, still nearing his 50th appearance for the club, and still, let's not forget, joined us just over a year ago and is getting that experience of championship football. So it's great to see that those shutouts are coming, and the experienced players like Flint and Smithies playing their part as well.
What of Blackpool today? I said maybe a little bit of a throwback. It's 4-4-2, but it's an effective 4-4-2. They play without and out wingers. They play with two holding midfielders who protect, allowing the wingers to go on and support the front two. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams match up in wide areas. What are you expecting from our visitors today?
Well, they've been on a good run of form. I think it's fair to say punched above their weight in the division. Not too many people would have expected them to be competing for a top half finish. I think it's fair to say, having won the League One playoff final last year. A good run of form recently, a late defeat against Bournemouth, those two goals coming, the winner in injury time for the Cherries. But it'll be interesting to see if Blackpool can bounce back from that and try and keep their momentum going and regain a bit of a few points in the table.
And just finally, Connor, I've made a couple of bad jokes about it, but conditions are going to play a part today. We've mentioned Jordan Hugill. He's going to have to fight for everything. Ball's going to either carry, it's going to hold up. Hopefully the game is played on the floor, but maybe it's going to come down to which team manages these conditions, these difficult conditions, the best.
You never know. We'll just have to wait until kick-off and see. The coin toss could be increasingly important this afternoon in terms of which way teams kicking first, and we talked about Steve Morrison and his brave decisions. He might have to wait 5-10 minutes, see how the situation is with the conditions here, and make another brave call. So it really does add an interesting dimension to the game.
My thanks to Connor for the moment. He will be joining me on video commentary if that's your option this afternoon. If it's audio, it's Mark and Sam who are in the downstairs positions. The other side of this, we will be back. We'll be splitting the frequencies, as it were. Join us for commentary, but just to keep you entertained for the next 5 or so minutes, we've got some top 5, we've got some corner kick challenges. I think Connor even sings Nessun Dorma at one stage. Stay with us and then join us for commentary straight after this next set of clips.
Let's talk about that game in midweek. It was a scrappy first half performance, but we really kind of took it to Coventry in the second half and managed to get the 3 points.
Yeah, I think it took us a little bit of time to adapt to the way they were playing. I think we did really well to be patient. I wouldn't say they were particularly dominant first half, but they had more of the ball. I don't think they had many chances. And then we allowed half time just to rejig a few things, reassess, and then second half we definitely were better. We made more forward runs. I think we played the ball forward a bit more, and then it was a comfortable victory in the end.
And 2 goals in 2 games for Joel Bacon. What did the lads say to him after the game? You must be really pleased for him.
Yeah, he's a great lad, Joel. He's a quiet boy, and it's a bit of a cliche, but he's turned into a bit more of a man now. And his goals are just coinciding with a couple of great performances, from a left wing back, a left back. It's not something that you require as goals, but to get them absolutely made up for him. The boys were all celebrating in the game after, and for him, and the manager spoke well of him as well. So he'll be full of confidence. He needs to keep these performances up now and show everyone what he can do. So really happy for him.
And we've been on a really strong run of form at home, particularly, and it's really important that we can keep that up going into the next few games.
Yeah, it's something we've lacked, obviously, earlier on in the season. Cardiff has always been a place that teams didn't want to come to, and we were giving away too many points. We were letting people go away with too many points early on in the season. I think we've turned it back into somewhere that people won't want to come to. as players, we've had to turn the performances around a bit and give the fans something to cheer about, because, rightly so, it wasn't the best atmosphere, a few weeks back, the way we were playing. And it's amazing to have everyone back on side. And, we're being a bit more patient. We're playing a bit more football. We're trying to play a bit more football. And, we might not score as many goals or play forward as much as what we did in the past. But I think we're playing a better brand of football. And I think the fans are really buying into it now. And it's so nice to be able to, clap the fans off at the end of the game with a victory. It means everything.
And Blackpool are the visitors to Cardiff City Stadium tomorrow, a side who have had a good season so far, and you must be expecting a tough test from them. Yeah,
I think they've really kicked on since we played them earlier on in the season. I thought we played well, actually, off at their place. It was a long time ago now, feels years ago. But yeah, they've done really well. They've probably punched above their weight a little bit, which is all credit to them. Obviously, the manager's got them well organised, and they're a good team. And obviously, speaking to Ryan Wintle, they've done really well, and they've actually, could have more points arguably. So we know it's going to be a tough game. Every game in this league is. You probably do interviews. Every player says that, but it's true. You look at the teams we've beaten and the teams we've been beaten by. There's no easy games in the Championship now. I think, other than the obvious kind of leaders of the league, everybody else can beat anyone else. I think they can be equally as tough games. It's like Coventry away was probably our hardest game of the season, I would have said. And then, we just beat them 2-0. So you never know what to expect, but we'll be looking to make it. I think that'll be 4 games on the spin at home if we win. That's what we want to do. We want to start climbing that league and forget about what's below us.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Jopra's away here. Here is Michael Jopra. Takes the shot on early and scores. Well, dreadful defending from Blackpool. Fantastic finish by Jopra. Could have even took a touch, but took it early. And it was a tremendous finish.
Holding on the left with the throw, long towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Cleared away by the Blackpool defence. It comes out to Ray, far side of the area. Scottish international tries to flick it in field. He does. He finds Sinclair. Long cross coming in. Thompson waiting. Heads it down across goal. Chance here for Ramsey. Getting the ball back to Whittingham. Shot is blocked. And the shot coming in from McLean is a goal to Cardiff City.
Absolute starting with Trevor Sinclair. Cross to the back post. Thompson in it back. Ramsey laid it on. What a fantastic left foot drive. Keeper had no chance. Seen them fail.
Whittingham. Oh. He fooled everybody. Peter Whittingham beats Matt Gilts at his near post. You'd have to say it was arguably the goalkeeper at fault there for not really seeing what Whittingham was planning.
Yeah, there's very little celebration from Peter Whittingham, and you don't really know whether that is what he thinks is a goalkeeping error rather, or whether it's just Peter Whittingham being Peter Whittingham.
Hi, I'm James Collins.
I'm Ruben Colwell.
Welcome to the Champions Travel
Corner Kick Challenge. Welcome to the Vale Resort, home to the Bluebirds training ground for this Champions Travel Corner Kick Challenge. The rules are simple. Score direct from a corner, 1 bounce allowed. Each player has 6 attempts and the highest score wins. As they go head to head, will James Collins be the Champions Travel Corner King? Or will Ruben Colwell come up on top?
Come on in, Colo, what you got?
What we've got?
What you got?
1 bounce.
1 bounce.
Don't need a bounce. It's getting there. Oh. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. 1-0. You don't want to miss this, Rubes, and me go 2 up.
That's pressure. Don't fancy your Rubes, not gonna lie.
No. Hey, you got that on camera. There you go, 2-0. Oh, you're joking. There you go. Oh. There you go.
There's another one. 2. Oh, it's the ground. Is it the ground, Rubes, yeah?
I don't want to score. He don't want to score.
It's all about the run up. Oh, what was that?
Oh, I slipped. I slipped on the feet. There you go. Oh.
There's no one singing "We've Got Ruben Baby" now, are they?
That's it, over. There you go.
Yes. 3-1, well up.
Love it, Rubes.
Well done, Rubes.
There you go, bounce.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
Bolden. He'll shoot and he'll score! One in the area!
Good afternoon, a warm welcome to a very cold, very windy, gantry at least, but a very inclement Cardiff City Stadium this afternoon. Welcome to Matchday Live, courtesy of Cardiff City TV for this championship encounter between the Bluebirds and Blackpool. John Donovan here with you this afternoon, shortly to be joined by Connor Pearce when he's finished the entirety of his pre-match duties. I always get the easy job. But everyone who's come to the stadium today braving the inclement conditions, and there's a healthy turnout, and they will hope to see the continuation of Cardiff City's resurgent form at home as both sides make their way out onto the impeccable playing surface. And you speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Connor Pearce just getting in situ alongside me. Gives me a chance to run you through the starting lineups for this afternoon's game, starting with the home side, Cardiff City, who will of course be in their traditional all blue. 2 changes from the team that started against Coventry in mid-week. There should be a graphic appearing on your screen now, and there it is. Alex Smithies will continue in goal. Joel Bagan at left wing back. What a goal he scored on Tuesday night. Cody Drummer right wing back. Aidan Flint captains the side today. Tommy Doyle is one of those changes back in midfield in replacement of Eli King, who's on the bench. Up top, Jordan Hugel comes back in, an early substitute on Tuesday night, and he's partnered by Isaac Davis. And there is the man in your picture, Jordan Hugel, who came on to really change the game on Tuesday night, and he's becoming a firm favourite for the Bluebirds. What can he do against Blackpool today? Well, this is the Blackpool team. They show 2 changes. Charlie Kirk gets his league start for Blackpool, playing from the left-hand side. I think I said the right earlier on. He will play from the left, and the ever-dangerous Josh Bowler will play from the right. 4-4-2. Former Bluebird Gary Medine will be leading the line. Surely he can't score at Cardiff City Stadium this afternoon. Stranger things have happened. On the bench for the Bluebirds today, Dylan Phillips, Ollie Denham. Good to see Alfie Doherty make a return to that bench following his injury at Barnsley. Marlon Pack, Eli King, Mark Harris and Uche Ikpeazu. And just before kickoff, my first chance to bring back in my co-commentator Connor Pierce. We've talked about the conditions, Connor, but we're looking forward to, well, I must admit, I'm looking forward to every Cardiff City game at the moment, and that's the credit to Steve Morrison and his team, how they've just changed the whole perception of Cardiff City's season.
Yeah, it's been a really big change. The style of play, obviously, but also with those January signings, I think has made a really, really large impact.